everybody, I'm Josh for Populi, and the Populi show is back and it's better than ever. And this, okay, I'm getting word from my producer, Gabe, and I'm not allowed to say that it's better than ever. He says I can say it's adequate or fine. I'm joined by Brendan. Brendan, as the writer at Populi, it's a web-based software. Have you ever written about websites?
What?
That's a no. You don't know about websites, haven't written about them. For everyone else out there, websites are easy. Go on the internet, look them up.
I know about websites.
I'll real briefly run down our topics we'll be looking at today. We're going to briefly look at running courses, several videos that are pointed at students that we have that are useful resources, recent features that we've already mentioned on the show, but they're faculty focused, so we'll bring them up again. We've got our plagiarism versus similarity checker discussion. We also have a focus session. We'll have Jordan Nelson in to tell us a little bit about that for faculty, and then some of our text message stuff. Brendan, why are we talking about faculty today? Courses, all that stuff.
Behind students, faculty are the the second largest user base in Populi. So there are tens and tens of thousands of students and thousands of faculty.
And we've got a bunch of new features to help faculty, right? That's why we're talking about it?
Nope.
No.
We are just going through various resources. We're going to talk about the life cycle of a course, common questions that faculty field from students.
Okay, and what is that course life cycle that faculty will generally experience?
Basically 3 phases. The first phase, the setup phase, students are being enrolled in the course. There's a bunch of things happening on the admin side. But then during that time, faculty are filling out the syllabus, setting up lessons and tests, basically planning out the course. During the term, students are interacting with assignments, interacting with each other in discussions. Faculty are overseeing test administration, grading assignments, big one. And then end of term is when everything that has happened before gets summarized in the student's grade. Courses end up finalized, and then grades become part of the student's academic record and GPAs and so on. And then the next term, that whole story repeats.
So basically there are a bunch of tasks that faculty have to do every term. Some of them they might do only occasionally, but we have resources to help them do that. Is that right?
We do. I understand you've made a number of videos during your tenure here at this company.
Couldn't say, don't remember.
Well, if you look down below us in the description, you'll see links to those.
Okay.
There's also the knowledge base, which I have worked on during my own tenure here at this company. And we will probably link to some of those articles too.
So basically they've built a course, they've run the course, they've finalized the course, but then they have to start all over next term, build the course from scratch again, right?
I mean, you could do that. I don't know why you would want to, because we've got a feature called cloning, where you can take all the content and materials and assignments and everything and take it from a previous instance of the course and put it in the new course. And then you can modify it from that point.
And I guess there'll probably be some kind of link to something like that.
Yeah, there'll be something or other.
Somewhere.
Yeah, down there.
Brendan, faculty end up answering a lot of student questions. Some of those are just things that they have to answer. It's about content on a course. But sometimes they're going to end up answering questions about how Populi works. That can be trickier for faculty. We don't leave them hanging, do we? What kinds of things do they deal with, and what resources do we have for them?
A really common one is students want to know how their grade is being calculated. So sometimes they'll hand in an essay and they'll get a rip-roaring A- or maybe even an A+ on the essay, and then their overall course grade goes down somehow. And so they want to know what gives. That happens not because our computers here are broken or we're bad people doing nefarious things. It's because of how the assignments have been weighted in that particular course. So we've got a video that goes into it. I believe you're in that video. If I
Again, couldn't be sure.
Okay, I've watched it 8 or 9 times this morning. And you talk about all of that really beautifully, I might add.
Oh, nice. Thank you. One thing that I've heard of happening, Brendan, is that faculty can get caught up in sort of a discussion with students about, I submitted my file, well, the file's not here, et cetera, et cetera. Do we have anything that kind of runs down exactly how that works?
Well, there's definitely a video about it, and I'm actually going to summarize that video right now. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go and watch it immediately after finishing this episode of the Populi show. Basically, student goes to upload a file, and once he hits submit, there's a message saying this has been successful. Provided it's the correct assignment, the faculty is going to find that file connected to that student for that assignment. It's that simple. Faculty doesn't see the file in there, the student didn't upload it.
It's not like there's like many routes where a file could get lost on the way or something like that. It's like it's there or it isn't.
Yeah, there's one tube. The student either drops the assignment file into the tube or he doesn't.
Yeah. What have we done about the fact that not every single student that uses Populi knows how to use Populi from birth?
There's some promising stuff with genetic manipulation, just like altering the genome so that knowledge of Populi is baked into every...
Got some smart guys here. They can do that kind of thing.
But until all that's in place, we've got a number of things available for students. Sometimes they can submit support requests. They have access to the knowledge base. A lot of them are millennials, so they know how to look stuff up on YouTube and find these videos here. But faculty can also kind of be proactive with it. So we've got a few schools where there are how to use Populi course lessons, and a lot of them link to, videos. Or knowledge-based links of how to upload an assignment, how to use a discussion, stuff like that. And that's just in a lesson in Populi.
So those lessons that faculty create there can just live on the course. Students can go back and refer to them, and that'll cut down on the questions that faculty have to answer. I think we have a playlist of videos that has all of those kind of student tutorials there already created.
And I'm certain I know where to find a link to it.
And are we currently, Brendan, doing anything to solicit ideas from faculty about things that it might be helpful to explain to students?
Yes, Josh. If you are faculty and you are constantly fielding the same kinds of questions from students about how Populi works, please let us know in the comments, as kind of feedback is great for us to know what kind of help we need to be offering you. Josh, do you promise to make videos about everything we hear about in the comments?
We don't promise to make videos about absolutely everything you submit, but we'll do our best to get the big ones.
Oh, also, if you have the academic admin or registrar role, you might be interested in a few of the student-focused videos that we have. In particular, how to register for courses, how to make an online payment. I'll just list the videos right now, actually. The first one is at https://
Brennan, link. So we've got a couple new features. They're faculty specific. They're going to be pass-fail assignments and then also mandatory pass assignments. Why are we talking about them again, Brendan? We've already talked about them.
Well, we love to listen to ourselves talk about ourselves, and so that's why it's coming up again. But also, there are now videos on these subjects, and I presume...
Down there. There's been some chatter about plagiarism checkers recently. What is the nature of this discussion, Brendan?
So the company that Populi integrates with for plagiarism checking, a big company called Turnitin, they recently posted something on their company blog about how they don't actually check for plagiarism.
Okay.
They don't detect it.
And this has caused some confusion with Populi users saying, well, we should use a plagiarism checker, right?
Right. But it's difficult because Turnitin has bought every company out there.
Okay, so that's interesting. So then if it's not checking for plagiarism, what does Turnitin do?
So it checks for similarity. The name of their plagiarism product is actually called Similarity. And basically it counts words and then compares it to other sources. So it's just basically seeing how much of a given document is similar or identical to the words or phrases used in another document somewhere else.
Okay, so in other words, that is pretty much all a tool like this would be able to do, right? Is
Right.
to find similarities between pieces of text.
Right. Yeah. So it's a computer program, so all it can do is count. It can't make judgments. The definition of plagiarism is the intentional use of someone else's work, presenting it as your own.
Right.
And it's that intention that a computer cannot make the judgment about. For that, you require a human being.
So it's true that these aren't like plagiarism checkers. You can't just run it and go, you have plagiarized, because you need somebody to weigh in on that. But they're presenting the evidence basically that you need to kind of make that judgment.
Yeah, similarity is one part of the evidence that goes into the determination of whether or not student work has been plagiarized. So other factors have to do with things specific to the student, like their ability. Do they know how to make citations? Is it just a mistake? The assignments parameters. Does every student in the class have to use the same source and write about the same topic? Well, then, yeah, you might end up with 30 papers that sound a lot alike. So a similarity checker might flag all of those papers. But you as the faculty know that because of the parameters of the assignment, this isn't actually plagiarism. This is students just coloring inside the lines that you told them to color inside.
Kind of the idea here is that this isn't necessarily something to get that concerned about. A similarity checker is going to be the best computer-based tool that you might have to get some information to make some of these judgments, right?
Yes, in a lot of cases, it will flag work that does need to be examined for plagiarism. Because, yeah, sometimes a student will just phone it in, copy paste a bunch of stuff from Wikipedia, and yeah, you want to know when that has happened. So a similarity checker is very good for that. That might be all the evidence that you need as an instructor to make that determination. But the determination lies with the person and not the program.
Not the software, right. So we have focus sessions for faculty. We have here the previously mysterious Jordan Nelson.
No longer mysterious.
No longer. The support rep who runs the vast majority of these sessions. Hello, Jordan.
Hello.
Tell us real quick what a focus session is.
A focus session is a clandestine name for a training session. It's 1 hour on Zoom, most of the time with me, and I spend about a half of that time telling you about something, and I spend the other half answering all the questions that you have about the thing that I confusingly told you about in the first half.
Perfect. And what?
Why is it confusing?
It's very complex, Brendan. It's complex stuff that we're talking about here.
Jordan, for various reasons, I have no idea what goes on the first half of a running courses focus session. So I'm wondering if you could fill me in and fill in our viewers.
Absolutely. When we talk about running courses, we talk about things like course settings. We also talk about designing assignments, lessons, discussions, tests, things like that. We'll also cover things like taking attendance and really important things like grading assignments.
When you're dealing with questions, do you have some sort of common questions that you get from faculty?
Sure. Oftentimes people will have questions about things like test construction, using question banks and categories and things like that, importing questions in from other courses that they may have done in the past. Oftentimes we get questions about things like gating lessons, because sometimes you want to bar people from doing the work until the right time.
Yes.
So that's really important. And sometimes we'll talk about things like cross-listing or syncing up courses, so it make your life a little easier.
Jordan, when's the next courses focus session?
We have another one coming up on April 11th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then every 2.5 weeks after that, we'll have another one.
And we'll have a link down below right to where you can register for that session and then any other focus sessions as well.
That is factually accurate.
Thank you, Jordan.
Goodbye.
So I've been hearing that we are making some updates to how text messaging works in Populi. What's that all about?
Yeah, so these updates that are coming up will help our customers stay compliant with some industry-wide, like telecom industry-wide changes that are coming up.
Okay, so new regulations within the telecom industry. What does that mean?
So you know how if you can get texts, about 80% of the texts you get are actually just spam, saying that your Amazon account's been hacked or whatever.
Yeah.
This is the industry trying to regulate those, self-regulate those out of existence. The long and the short of it is, if you are sending texts from a toll-free number, then you have to have that number connected to a verified business identity, which simply means, they have your contact info connected to that number. So if that number is sending out abusive spam or whatever, they can get a hold of you and tell you to knock it off or
Prevents you from continuing to harass people.
Correct. Yeah.
Give us a rundown of how things used to work or how they work right now, and then how they're going to work after we change things.
So the way that we're phasing out, it worked this way. Populi, we had a bunch of toll-free numbers that were shared amongst all of our customers whenever they sent texts from within Populi. And that worked fine, but it's not going to work going forward, first off, because it doesn't comply with the new regulations. But also sometimes there's apparently a blacklist of banned words. So if there's a mass text from a toll-free number and it contains certain words, that number can get blacklisted and not be allowed to send texts. So if a school used words like congratulations or Facebook or had a $sign in the message somewhere, that number would get blacklisted. Which meant that our other schools couldn't use that number either. So their text would get dropped because someone somewhere else ran afoul of this blacklist somewhere. So that was something that was coming up more and more often.
Okay, so that's how things work now. It's the old way. How are things going to work once we make the update?
Basically, every school is going to get its own dedicated number. That number will not be shared with any other schools. It will not be shared with any other part of the Populi customer base. It's just going to be your school's number. The other thing is that we're going to handle the verification for that. So you might have heard me use the phrase verified business entity earlier. So we're basically going to tell the carriers, this school is a verified business entity for this number. And we're going to handle that. Our schools won't have to think about that. Another benefit is if you want additional numbers, say you want one phone number for general texts coming from your school, but then a dedicated number for admissions-related texts or one for donations-related texts. You can actually get a hold of us and request additional numbers be added to your school's account.
And when's this going to happen? When's this change occur?
We are looking at rolling this out over the next month or two. Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise. I bet you didn't know that we keep our servers right next to a creek to help cool them down.
It's important that creek doesn't rise.
If it rises, it's harder to get to the servers to push the button for a new phone number.
It's time for everybody's favorite segment. Brendan and Josh show you a snack. This helps you to understand what it's like to work at Populi. Brendan, what do you have?
I have, straight from the wilds of Germany, Black Forest fruit-flavored snacks. These are the Juicy Burst edition. That's because they're filled with, there's a liquid-filled center in each fruit snack. I can only assume that they are just some kind of molten hot fruit substance in there, because I don't know how else you would keep it liquid.
Liquid, no.
Yeah. I also appreciate very much that in a company that employs a bunch of adults, as far as I know, the bin where these are stocked, we have to refill it every other day or so because all the adults here are eating fruit snacks.
The adults here like their yummy treats.
What kind of delicious snack do you have there, Josh?
So I've got, this is called Faya, I suppose, yogurt. And I like this yogurt. It's very bland. And so to spice it up, sometimes I take another treat that we have here, which is tuna fish, and put tuna fish in this, and I eat that. And people are weird about it, and I think it's weird, but I like it, and I keep doing it. And that's it for us. Now you can go do something else. You can get back to work, go to the beach. You can do what I'm going to do. Go sit in my office and stare at the wall until Gabe comes in and tells me it's time to shoot the next video. Brendan, what are you going to do?
I have to write release notes soon.
Great. It's been a pleasure. I'm Josh for Populi.
I'm Brendan from Populi.
Take care. Thanks for watching.